There is a sixth dimension beyond that which is known to man. A multiverse as vast as eternity, as timeless as the Infinity Gems. It is the middle ground between the big two and the indie publishers, between sci-fi and mysticism, and it lies between the pages of the reader's imagination. At the summit of entertainment, the dimension of comics, where a humble service is held. We call this service the Gospel of Comics.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gospels Comics. I am nope,
There is a
we're
sixth
not
dimension
doing that.
beyond that.
That's not what we're doing. We're not.
We doing?
We're not playing the intro twice. That's not what we're doing. So, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gospels Comics. I am your host, the Church of Failure, and with me, as always, is my trusty co-host Eric McCartney. How you doing today, buddy?
Oh, doing pretty good. I went and got some barbecue for dinner. I lit my cigar before the show today, so I'm doing good.
Well, if I could ever get my my audio to work properly 2 shows in a row, I think that would be a goddamn miracle. I'm gonna plug the microphone back in, and we're gonna see if that has any effect on. We're gonna ask the audience to be their usual sound checking self,
All right.
and let me know how it sounds for you guys versus how it sounds right now. So let me know how this sounds, and then we're gonna right now plug in the microphone. And we're gonna ask how this sounds.
I can't hear very well.
You can't hear me very well?
Yeah, you're a
it's
little
very
low,
light.
but the static is gone from before.
Okay, so let's see here. Oh man. Yeah, Shinobi, I believe you have some you got a really sensitive mic. Are you using like one of the headset mics or whatever?
Yes.
Okay. Is it one with the little leg or whatever? Or is it the one with the actual like little piece on your chest or whatnot?
Just one with a little leg thing.
Okay. Move it about an inch or two away from your mouth or whatever. Maybe that'll cut down on it just a bit.
How's that?
Much better. Much better.
Okay, we found the sweet spot.
Are we back in business?
I think we might be. Here's what we're gonna do.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna go into the microphone. Oh, it says I'm boosted, so
I can hear you now.
yeah, I'm much quieter.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm much quieter than I was, but I can boost that in the actual OBS here, so we can just pump that up 2.5, and that'll increase it for the audience, so I'll still be louder than both you guys. Anyway, how's it going
As it
for you
should
gentlemen this weekend?
Great.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay, well I boosted up the mic, Erica, so I think we should be right around the sweet spot for everybody. However, you're doing well this weekend, Shinobi. You're doing well this weekend, Ayrton. I am doing all right. I have as usual my my grumpy old man complaints. When could you start taking your kids to see Santa in November? Like, when did that become a thing? When did Santa come down from the North Pole in November?
What the hell?
Yeah, I experienced this fiasco today. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed spending the day with my family. However, just the idea that Christmas is now something that takes place from October 31st to January 15th. We have turned Christmas into its own season.
I blame greeting card companies.
Now we already blame them for St. Patrick's Day and Valentine.
Yeah, true. But at least St. Patrick's Day we get to drink.
What are you talking about? You get a drink on Valentine's Day.
That's fair.
I mean, anyway, while we're on the subject, no, I went to one of the Santa greetings, and Santa Claus was there. They were issuing like tickets for when you were able to like. It's almost like going to see Santa's like being at the DMV now, and it's at one of these. It's at one of these big like retail stores or whatever. And,
yeah.
You know, obviously the whole gimmick is to get you in there so you spend money, right?
Yeah,
You-
naturally.
they want you in there so that you're there walking around looking for Christmas presents. Oh, I need one of these. Oh, I could totally use one of these. And it almost worked. If I hadn't been dirt poor, I would have bought some stuff just because I was there and we had like 3 hours to kill. Because
3 hours?
that's what kind of fiasco this has become.
Holy shit.
Well, I mean, I told you about the fiasco of waiting an hour in line to trick or treat, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
At
So,
the indoor trick-or-treating place?
right. Like all of
Yeah.
these things that used to just be fun and spontaneous when we were children are now just so structured and organized for a society that just can't handle any kind of interaction with one another. You have to have your own time slot to go see Santa because God forbid you just shuffle through 30 people in an hour. No, 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 no. No, you can't have people in line brushing up against one another going to see Santa. When you're giving away free candy, that's fine. Which, let's just be honest, kind of creepy when you put it in those terms, right?
I mean, it's definitely... I mean, both concepts are kind of creepy, really. A fat old guy that breaks into your house, eats your food, and then leaves you some toys. Just about as creepy as giving out free candy.
Yeah, that's just me on a bad Saturday night after a whole bottle of Jameson's.
Right.
Sounds like an interesting night.
No, you just drink the whole bottle of Jameson's, and then you go outside and you forget which house is yours, and you wonder why your key doesn't work. So you break the neighbor's window, you eat their food, and you leave some of your valuable action figures in the morning to pay for your damages.
Exactly. We've all been there. We've all
Right.
been there.
Yeah, every one of us. I'm looking at you, Novel Bro. But anyway, now that I've gotten that out of my system, we are here today with guest 8-bit Shinobi. Is that what you'd like to be called? Do you have a name you'd like us to use?
Sean DN.
Okay, Sean. We'll just go with Sean. That's cool.
Okay, sounds good.
Not to be confused with the Dick Show Sean. This is comic, this is comic Sean. And we are here to talk about your working project. Looks like you got a couple of different projects in the works from the little bit of research I've done. You've got a classic retro arcade project going on, and from what I understand, now correct me if I'm wrong. And you've also got a comics project in the work called Parallel Academy. So you got your fingers in a couple of different baskets.
Yeah, it all started. I usually host a Christmas event, and I do like really nice Asian food, nerdy drinks, and it so happened I was working on the comic at the same time as hosting this event when someone said, "You should market this."
And what is this
So I said,
exactly? The experience of the food and just the atmosphere.
the
and
food
ambience
and the
whatnot?
gaming and the nerdy cocktails and
Right.
the Asian food that I made.
Okay. So now I will say that there has been kind of an uptick in that retro gaming niche market, arcade bars and things like that. They really kind of go the distance as far as just being a niche kind of industry that's starting up, right?
Right.
A lot of people are kind of leaning
So-
back on the old NES and Atari and God, what were those other systems? What was it?
Sega Genesis. That was my system back in the day.
Well, you're back in the day. You're like
Yeah.
28 years old, Eric. Back in the day for you was like 6 weeks ago. I mean, for God's sake.
Hey, you're not that much older than me.
I am in spirit, you fucker.
Hey, don't make me send my carrier pigeon to you with a very strongly worded letter.
Passenger pigeon died in 1986. Actually, I think it was 1942. Passenger pigeons died out. Real talk.
Well, I have the last one. Bought it on eBay.
That's
You know,
not bad.
snipe the highest bidder right at that last couple seconds. You know.
That's not as good as having the last pharmaceutical quaalude. I'm afraid.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Anyway, so we're also here to talk about your comic enterprise, which is Paranormal Academy, and
Yes.
let's see here. I've got some images I can pull up, but if you'd like to just start talking about that, then we can get into that real quick. I've also got some news articles this week. You're welcome to stay and comment on those with us. I've got some choice words for DC Comics this week. We've got a trip in the Magic School Bus to go back in time, ladies and gentlemen, in the second half of the show. You're more than welcome to join us on that, but I will be I will be voicing my disdain for DC Comics and some of the decisions they've been making. So stay tuned.
And speaking fluent French.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We down here in Toadsuck, Arkansas, we call what I talk very, very good French. So anyway, Sean, no, I apologize for interrupting. Please, by all means, go ahead and tell the people about Paranormal.
That's
Academy.
okay. So, Paranormal Academy is about mystic creatures. So, like the elves, the warlocks, and witches, and all that. They left our world to start into another dimension. So what ended up happening was when they left, all the evil that was in our world started to affect their world. So they created an academy where they could train students to go into the human world to combat that evil.
Okay.
And my story focuses on a misfit group. So the main character is his name is Blue. He's an elven prince, and he sort of went through this traumatic experience, which you will learn through the books. But right now, he's supposed to be a warrior elf protecting his people, but he's not doing that because of the event. So he's out there partying and boozing. So his father, being the king, tells him, you're either getting kicked out or you're going to the academy. So the premise of the story is that there's different characters that each have their own stories.
Right.
Now, did you sign over the life rights to that story, Church?
What was that exactly?
Partying and drinking a lot, and then being sent off to essentially a military academy.
Oh God, no. They would never threaten me with military academy. Hold on. Denny's in the show chat.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how that happened. Denny. Oh no. What's going on? Oh yeah. Yeah, we're not on Discord this evening. No. We're on Skype. You gotta call in through Skype, buddy, if you want to jump on. Oh God. I wish I could drag him on.
Good job, Denny.
I wish I knew how to do that. So yeah, Denny's with us in spirit. He's gonna hang out in the top left corner. Nope, he's gone. And he's gone.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna jump in and tell him what you said.
Oh I'm assuming he's watching the show, which is why he went to the show chat. So, but anyway, um, so now the character that you've sent me images of, the fox girl or
Yeah.
whatever it is, I'm not very proficient
Yes.
with the animal type characters. Again, not necessarily like from what I'm seeing as far as the art goes, it's not necessarily
Hmm.
something that I have traditionally been interested in. However, I do know there's a market for this type of book. But I wanted to kind of get your take on, what exactly type of book this was before I made that assessment. Because usually when you see the foxtail, you think of like anime cat girls and things like that. And that's kind of what the style reminds me of is being influenced by that whole anime era of Western invasion almost. Am I close or off base
Yeah.
or okay?
Yes, it's very manga influenced.
All right. And this is
What?
Kitsune, correct?
What?
Is the name of this character?
Kitsune, yes, yes. She actually started off as being like a side character that she wasn't gonna be important. She was basically, when I first created her, she was gonna be Blue's arm candy,
Okay.
but I ended up creating a story for her, and she just came to life, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to fit her in with the main cast.
Okay. Well, I mean, and
So her
that's.
story,
Oh,
her,
go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
so her story was she lived in the forest with her family, but an army of goblins attacked her and killed her father, and Blue swept in and saved her. So that's how they're connected.
Oh, okay. And Gulf City Culture Krill says Kitsune means fox in Japanese, so there's the connection there. One of the intro
Yeah.
videos available for this on the Indiegogo link down below to to kind of sign up for I don't know, a mailing list or a pre, just a pre, I don't know, pre-campaign sign up. There's a video that kind of goes through this a little bit, and Kitsune is supposedly the fox spirit and one of the characters that is going to kind of get spotlighted in the comic. Now, the comic and your arcade project, they're not like hand in hand. They don't affect one another in that regard, correct? These are two separate projects.
I'm hoping that they do, but worst case scenario, I just sell it online.
Okay. All right. Well, I
I'm
mean,
I'm
you would
like
definitely be able to
experimenting.
you would definitely be able to offer physical copies inside, but I'm guessing the theme of the book doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the overarching business plan of a an arcade.
No.
Okay. All right. And yeah, for the longest time, I had this idea of doing a coffee shop, comic book store. My current wife has current wife, like I've had multiples. My wife has told me about her idea. My initial idea was a coffee shop and bar, but then she was talking about putting a comic book store and a coffee shop, and I was like, well, why not all three? It's kind of like the why not both meme, but why not all three?
Well, because there would have to be alcohol.
Well, no, the idea was, and hear me out on this, right? Like I think this is genius.
Yeah.
You have
All
a
right.
sports bar and grill type restaurant that is open to the wee hours of the morning where you can get your drink on, but it's connected to a coffee shop and bakery because a coffee shop and a bakery they're starting their day right when the bar is closed down. So you just go next door, you pump your patrons that can't like drive themselves home full of bread and coffee so that they sober up and can get home. And then,
That sounds like a plan.
and then you open up your bakery for the day as people like get off to work. You would have people that you could just rent cots to. I mean, I'm talking about a
No, don't even do
lifestyle
it
here,
cots.
people.
Do it like old Navy ships. Just have like strings of hammocks.
Right? Yeah. No, down
Just like
below,
going
like in the
vertical.
basement or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just barracks or whatever. Just have barracks down in the basement where we could just,
Mm-hmm.
you could just rent a barracks to sleep in before your shift because you got too drunk at the bar and you just had a filling breakfast. I mean, I'm thinking I can collect rent from
I
these
dig it.
people. But
I mean, you do know that's essentially what a hostel is, right?
you get them drunk, you pump them full of coffee, and you send them to work and take their paycheck.
Yeah, basically.
I've been in the wrong business.
You're paying for a bed.
All right, well, guys, it's been a great show. I'm gonna go pursue my live stream now. But so, Paranormal Academy. The way you're talking about branching this story off of multiple characters and whatnot, we only have art from one of the characters currently. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you're planning on trying to launch this in August of 2020, so not quite a year out. Within that time frame, what are you planning on doing as far as your marketing goes?
Right now, I'm planning to do as many podcasts as I can, continue to make more promo videos, and do more TV spots and radio broadcasts.
Okay. Um, and yeah, I did see the video for the arcade thing. That's not a bad. What is it? Not even 20 minutes in, and Turkey is saying, "All right, I'm gonna head out." No, just to go start a hostel. Novel Bro, all of you guys can come with me. Like that's the idea, right? Like we'll just
Yeah, and we'll broadcast every night from the hostel.
right. You can all be part of the show. We'll have to like get somebody to rein Novel Bro in. Because I assume
We'll just put a shot collar on him, and when he starts to say certain things, we'll just press the button and zap him real quick.
Look, as the host of this show, if anybody's getting a shot collar, it's you.
Yeah, I should have seen that coming.
Look, Novel Bro's my true right hand man. I just bring you on air because your accent isn't as thick.
That's fair.
Novel Bro is our resident Scotsman, Sean. So you just to fill in the lore there. He's our resident Scot. And you remember The Simpsons? Did you ever watch that coming up as a kid?
Yes, I watched that when I was younger.
Okay.
I still watch it every now and then.
You remember Groundskeeper Willie?
Yes.
That's basically Novel Bro. And that's not a put down, Novel Bro. I want you to know.
No, it's a compliment.
It is, in my highest esteem. You're like Sean Connery and Groundskeeper Willie had a baby.
but the accent's much more Groundskeeper Willie.
Oh, absolutely. So while you're doing your campaign and whatnot, while you're getting everything ready on that, he's not wrong. That's correct. While you're getting everything ready on that, and you're doing all of this, you've gotten prepared to launch this campaign in August of 2020. But the campaign I have linked down below is the arcade campaign. Are you going to be launching a separate campaign for the book?
Yes, that would be the plan.
Okay, and that's the one that's going to actually launch in 2020. So,
yes.
Are you talking about doing a single issue type format, or are you talking about going straight to like a trade type format where there are multiple issues in one book? How are you planning on going about all that?
I'm gonna start off with a single issue, and then hopefully I could get the rest of my issues out.
Okay. All right. So this is going to be a multifaceted campaign where you're going to have like multiple issues over the course of time. Maybe a second issue as a stretch goal could be an idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also booked for Fanaticon in Ottawa, which is why I chose August. I'm hoping to get a physical copy, like the con edition one,
Okay.
and just have that for my table. While people try games, they can see my comic book and they could pick it up, and then I get into my launch. So get everyone excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. Once that happens, if you'll give us a shout, I would by all means um, review it, look over it, give you notes, review it on the stream if you were interested. When
Can
it
we
comes
get a
out.
table at a con?
Oh God, you don't. I don't think they let you binge drink at the con, Ayrton. I don't think you can
Oh,
smoke
man.
cigar. I don't think you can smoke cigars and take shots at a con table. I don't think that's what they're sold for.
Hey,
I mean, I guess if you buy it,
I
you
drink
could.
Guinness. Yeah, I would
Oh,
just sit there with an eight,
we're
a
not
couple
worried.
of eight
We're not
packs.
worried about you. I'm the one that's important. It's my name on the brand. Um, it's about taking the shots,
That's true.
and they call that drunk in public. Um, even
Well, it's a
even
private event.
well, I mean, I don't think it is though. You can buy tickets at the door.
Well, if you
That's
have
pretty
to-
public.
Yeah, but you still have to pay to enter.
That's dicey. You see what happens,
It is,
Sean?
We'll,
You see what I put up
we'll
with?
have to contact Racket. We'll have to contact Rackets to find
I
out
will.
the legality of
yeah,
that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to.
Always contact a lawyer.
Wait a minute. No, I was drunk in a convention. Security
Yeah.
threw me into public. It's a little Ron White
Exactly.
throwback.
Exactly.
So,
See, that's the loophole.
yeah, it's a Ron White throwback for you non-boomers in the chat. So what initially got you into to the comics medium as a whole? Like, were you a comic fan growing up? Is it something you've gotten into as an adult? How did you discover this great medium that we call comics and so covet?
It was through my uncle Ruben. He always brought me out to comic book shops, and he always encouraged me to read. And I would always write like pages of stories in class for my journal. I remember one called Rockman, and then I did a story about a dinosaur that played soccer. So I've always been writing and reading.
Okay, dinosaur playing soccer. I mean, that sounds right up your alley, Eric.
It really does. I mean, I would probably prefer like dinosaurs playing lacrosse, because you could have like pterodactyls, like passing over top of the T-Rex,
Why
getting
not
it
water
into the
polo?
goal. There's an idea.
That could be issue 3.
Yeah. I mean, I want some crustaceans playing rugby, if you want my honest opinion, but that's just me.
See, now I'm picturing like a velociraptor riding a woolly mammoth as like the horse playing water polo. I could dig it.
Right. Yeah.
I can dig that.
$1 million idea right there. Anybody that wants to script that out, I'll put my name on it, and we'll split the profit 30-70. 70 would go to whoever actually did the legwork, but obviously you're selling on the prestigious Gospel of Comics brand, so I gotta have my taste.
Yes, and we'll send you an official Gospel of Comics approved seal to go on the front cover of the book.
Yeah, it'll be a shitty 3-cent decal that I got from China. I've actually already got them made. I'm just trying to figure out a way to offload them. So somebody please write this book. Pulled the trigger a little too. Go ahead.
He shipped like 4 cases to me up here just because he ran out of room in his garage.
Well, Ayrton still hasn't made the Patreon exclusive video of him wearing nothing but being full covered in those decals.
That's true. I'm working on it. I'm gonna make it classy. I'm gonna make it look like an evening gown. You know, maybe make a tiara out of some of the leftovers.
So, what kind of comic books do you enjoy from like common? Well, I wouldn't say common, but what are some of the things that you would enjoy that maybe some people know, and some things that you enjoy that maybe some people don't? As far as comic books go.
I think my favorite growing up would be Batman, X-Men. I was really into the Venom spin-off that they did.
Okay.
I was a huge Venom fan. I thought he was pretty badass.
Yeah, Venom. Venom, I believe, is created by Todd McFarlane as almost like a precursor to what Spawn would become. Because
Yeah.
for those that don't know, the idea of the Spawn suit is actually that it is a living entity of hell, and the Venom symbiote is an alien entity that has to bond with a humanoid host in order to function. So, very allegorical type creations by Todd McFarlane. It was kind of a prototype to see how well it would be received, and man, for a while there, Spawn was the best-selling comic in the country. So, I mean,
Yeah, I was just looking at a list of like the top 10 like image books or whatever, and obviously, well, Walking Dead was number one because it was a Screen Rant article or something like that. So obviously they're going to put that as number one.
right?
But yeah, it was like that. Something else that I don't remember: Spawn, a couple other things, Chew, a couple other things.
Yeah. For those of you that don't already know, Gospel of Comics on Twitter, the lovely Mrs. Church has been showcasing food-related comics this month in preparation for Thanksgiving, and
Oh,
I think to commemorate that around Thanksgiving, we'll just do a triple threat. We will fulfill a Patreon request by covering Chew Volume 2. We'll tie into
all right.
Thanksgiving
I'm down for that.
by talking about a
Speaking
food-based
of
comic book.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
my wife does a really great pumpkin cheese pie cake.
That just, it sounds delicious, but the way you said it, I'm not going to lie, it made me angry. Because pie cake, that infuriates me. I'm sorry.
Church takes his food very seriously, Sean.
I do. I am a healthy man. I am in great shape. Round has been called a very energy efficient shape. So I am in the best shape to conserve energy. Mainly because I sit here and drink with you guys instead of going to the gym like a good boy. But
Or getting a proper amount of sleep.
what is this sleep you speak of, pleb?
Exactly.
Yes, what is sleep?
Sleep. That's that thing that weak people do, right?
Ah.
But anyway, no. So X-Men, Batman, Venom, that kind of stuff. Is there anything that you enjoy now that might be a little bit more obscure for our viewing audience? One of the and don't take this the wrong way. I don't mean it as a slight, but because of the Foxtail, obviously, I was reminded of the only Catgirl comic that I'm aware of, and that is Gold Diggers, which is an adult-oriented comic. For those who are unaware, they do make those. They do make the comic books where you have to put the opaque paper in the front cover to keep little kids from seeing the naughty bits on the Catgirls.
Oh God.
Not that I compared those two. However, I assume that there are non-sexualized versions of manga-inspired characters. But I didn't know if there was anything that you have partaken in as far as the comic medium that maybe your average listener hasn't heard of. And here on the Gospel of Comics, especially with the new COPA regulations via YouTube, we are not a kid oriented show. Children, please ask your parent permission and advisory before viewing this, and then don't do it anyway.
Yeah, you should probably ask your parents and have a priest say a blessing over you before watching this show.
Especially, that's why it's called the Gospel of Comics, not because
Exactly.
we're a religious institution. That'll be more of a cult, but we are an institution that requires religion before consuming. So,
And we are working on the 501c3 status, though.
right. We need a few more of you guys to join our Patreon and our Discord, and no, we are not. We are not a cult, according to Fatneck. I don't know that I agree with that. I think we are, honestly. So that's just me, though. But anyway, but no, are there any comics that you have read that might not be as familiar with the mainstream audience as X-Men or anything like that?
I used to collect some 80s comics. Like I forget the names, but they're in there with these insect like humanoids, and it was like medieval times, and they'd fly around on giant flies.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I
trying
think
to.
I know what you're
I don't
talking
remember
about.
the name. I think it's insectoids or something.
I think I know what you're talking about. Some things from that era that I actually got into were Rom Space Knight, Gru the Wanderer. Um, the original Star Wars comics were actually fantastic because they had nothing to do with the movies.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think that should be a future show on this channel. Maybe
That's
around the
actually a good
time
idea.
maybe around the time Rise of the Skywalker comes out, we'll review the original run of Star Wars comics because,
And remember, Han shot first.
Damn right.
as it should be, and Lando didn't have sex with robots either. He had sex with all the
Right.
white women.
Well, that's all there was in a galaxy far, far away.
Well, androids and white women, yeah, but Lando didn't have
Yeah.
sex with androids.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not as worried about saying shit like this anymore now that COPA regulations have come in. Like, I've just completely given up on capturing the youngling audience like Comics Explained has. We went off on that guy a couple of times. And I
Yeah.
like Rob's videos. I do. I think he's really good at
What he does.
recounting a story. I think he's really great
Yeah.
at that. Having an opinion, on the other hand, is not his strong suit, and when he does it, it's usually a pretty bad one. Why do we need print comics? Because that's the backbone of the industry, you idiot. No offense. Look. The Lando that would stab Han in the back and not, and this is in response to the novel, bro. But the Lando that would stab Han in the back and not be working as a triple agent, he might. Oh, Fatneck says Cerberus was the shit. Dave Sim Cerberus, absolutely fantastic book. I recommend it to everybody. No matter what Dave Sim did as a human being, he was a fantastic creator. And Cerberus is a piece of history that no one should discount. Sorry, I forgot where I was.
Responding to novel, bro.
Oh, Lando fucked the robots. Let's not deny that he would. He might, however, only if all the white women were taken, and we never saw him get in that good with Leia, right?
True.
So, anyway, are you a Star Wars fan, Sean?
Huge Star Wars fan. I actually got the first Star Wars comic signed by Mark Hamill.
Oh shit,
Nice.
the Joker himself.
Yeah.
You know, I was so happy when they brought him in to play Trickster for the Flash show.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I
Yeah.
love that.
So,
Anytime he gets to do that like creepy, weird, spastic villain type character is always so much fun.
oh, absolutely, and he's made for it too, right?
Oh, he really is.
Yeah.
He's got the crazy eyes down.
I don't.
I mean,
I
am I
don't know
wrong?
that- I don't know that that's an act.
Good point.
But no, I don't know. I've liked Star Wars since I was a kid. I'm pretty much on board with EVS's take on the new trilogy, to the point where somebody, I think it might be SJW Spidey or somebody in that vein, had put up a tweet asking if we had the opportunity to say something to George Lucas, what would it be? And I would personally apologize for all the shit talking I did about Jar Jar. It did get worse after Jar Jar, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I honestly think we all should pay for that.
That's a good point.
So, Dooku
Jar Jar
for
was
the
still,
win.
still bad.
Dooku only exists because you people wouldn't accept Jar Jar. Okay? I just want you to understand. Dooku was. They just were like, oh God, we need a big name to come in right now and save these movies. And they were like, okay, let's get Christopher Lee. They said, Christopher Lee? Is it that dire? Yes, but don't get Jay Dyer because he's a racist. And then they went and they said, okay, we're going to get Christopher Lee. And they're like, okay, we got Christopher Lee. What's he going to do? We're going to give him a sword, a light sword, and he's going to be the most badass Sith. But we have never seen him in the movies before. Like, shouldn't we introduce him? No, we don't have time for that. Jar Jar failed. Don't you understand? And I really feel like that was the meeting that took place at Lucasfilms because they gave us this character that could have done so much, and they did so little with it.
Yeah, I think they just went overboard with like the goofiness of the character. If they would have made it a little bit more subtle, it would have worked better. But in my opinion,
I just want to have it on record that the Landolamite move, the future meme of Landolamite, started here, folks.
that's true.
Don't believe the hype, but our chat, the best chat, Landolamite. Even I didn't think about that. Like,
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I hope you change your name to that, your screen name to that, Fatneck. Please do it.
I'm probably going to change my name to the Church of Landolamite.
Esquire.
No, I'm no longer the law office of failure. I needed my soul back.
Oh, okay. I think my Twitter still says Esquire.
Yeah. You never had a soul to begin with, so.
And that's true.
More like Mace Dindu. Oh no! Apparently Dindu is racist. I can't. I disavow.
We have to disavow you already, Novel Bro. Come on.
It's 49 minutes. He's done well. He's a Scot, for God's sake. So, Sean, before we get into just completely trampling all over DC and time traveling, because I love time traveling. I think we talked about this off air. I'm going to get in the Magic School Bus and we're going back in fucking time tonight, buddies.
Nice.
So, Miss Frizzle ain't got shit on me. But
Damn right.
what would you like to have any final thoughts on for the people for Paranormal Academy or your upcoming projects with the arcade, the 8-bit Shinobi arcade? Also, can you explain the 8-bit Shinobi name? I saw that earlier and it was fantastic, and I would love if you pontificated on that here as well, because I feel like not enough people understand why Shinobi is an actual name in the genre of Asian themed warriors.
Growing up, I was a really huge fan of ninjas in the early 80s and 90s. It was really popular with the Ninja Turtles and the games, Ninja Gaiden and Shinobi.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that don't know, Shinobi is basically the Asian name for ninja, what we call ninja.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's why I went with that name.
Well, I wanted to point that out because it gives me a great segue into the idea of the original PlayStation 1 Shinobi game. And that was such a good game. Where you had to buy your
I don't think I ever played that one.
Oh, you had to buy your shurikens in between levels. If you didn't have enough shurikens, like you just didn't have them, and you had to like confront more enemies. You could buy like smoke pouches and stuff like that to throw down smoke bombs and upgrade all your gear, and you would unlock certain pieces, and it was ahead of its time. It was a very underappreciated game, but
sounds like it.
Yeah.
They even had paper walls.
I used to play that game for an hour.
They had paper wall mechanics. Like,
yeah.
You didn't see, like, destructive, like, environments after that until Grand Theft Auto 3 or 4. Like, until Vice City, or until 3, Vice City. Definitely you had destructive environment in Vice City. But I don't know about 3. Maybe a little bit, but nowhere near the
amount. Landolmite has not yet been taken as a Gmail address.
Oh man, somehow I feel like we're about to get a new subscriber from landolomite@gmail.com.
I feel like we're about to as well.
Oh man,
that is fantastic. I'm expecting Landolomite memes in the Discord over the next week or so.
I hope so.
Let's hashtag it.
Oh no, we don't hashtag things here. We try to fly under the radar.
All right.
We're just waiting to be banned. Don't worry. We voted for the wrong guy according to YouTube, so you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Apparently,
and I voted for none of the above.
I voted for Kodos.
I just wanted to bring back Reagan. Thaw Reagan out his time.
You know, I did act, and this is totally serious. This is not a joke. In one of my town's local elections, I wrote in Richard M. Nixon for some stupid position. I don't know what it was, like county treasurer or something like that. I wrote in Richard M. Nixon.
Look, after Watergate, you should know that the man can't handle money.
I know, that's why it's funny.
Anyway, Speaking of money, that's pretty good
Uh-oh.
transition, right? Speaking of money,
Look at that segue.
are you guys ready to go back? Let me see if I can find this real quick.
As long as you don't start playing 70s porn music again while I'm talking, we're good.
No, that's definitely what I'm planning on doing. I think this is the correct thing to do. Let's see here.
What we do here is go back.
Shit. So which DC thing do you want to yell about first?
Well, have you ever seen one of the iDubbbz content cops?
No?
Okay. He has a piece of intro music that Otis McDonald, and it says, "What we do here is go back," and that's what we're doing here. So I'm actually I'll link this to you guys in the Skype chat so you guys can pull it up and follow along with me. We have in fact I'll put it in the YouTube chat as well for everyone. Maybe I should start doing that. Seems like a generous thing to do. So here we go in the Skype chat as well on the side chat, guys. This is You Bent My Wookie back in 2011. It's a fantastic name for a website, by the way. This is the beginning of DC Comics deciding. Now, keep in mind, this is 2011. And DC Comics deciding that $3.99 is entirely too expensive for a comic book. So they're going to draw back their prices to $2.99. And they're going to draw the line at $2.99. Sort of.
Jeez.
DC Comics announced recently that they will be lowering their price for all standard length 32-page ongoing comic books from $3.99 to $2.99. First off, first fucking sentence, and yes, I just did the SJW clap. First sentence. A standard length 32-page book? You're telling me that in 8 fucking years we've lost 8 pages to the standard length of a comic book? What is wrong with you people?
Jesus.
8 years, and we've lost a page a year.
That's inflation for you.
8.
That's the same thing with everything.
The standard
Like a
comic
tub
book.
of ice cream or whatever.
No, you don't understand. Like, the standard comic book went from 32 pages to 24 pages in 8 years. However, it went from $2.99 to $5 to what we'll find out is the next price hike by DC of $8 fucking dollars.
Which means Marvel's going to follow suit.
No, I don't think so, and we'll talk about that.
You don't think they will?
Well,
Right.
I've trust me, this is all plotted out.
All right. Okay.
32 pages that triggered me. So, the announcement comes with a beautiful piece of artwork by Ivan Reis featuring the Justice League and Green Lantern. Green Lantern is a member of the fucking Justice League, you asshole! As the front man, for obvious reasons. Obvious, probably because Ethan Van Sciver was drawing him back in those days. And he was selling.
Right.
It's a great campaign, however, it's a little misleading. What's left out there is the press release that the new standard length for 32-page ongoing comics happens to be 2 less story pages and 2 more ad pages. Therefore, while it may appear that DC is lowering the price point by a whole buck, they're essentially losing 2 pages of story, equally 10% of what you used to get before at $3.99.
Holy shadiness, Batman.
Yeah, no shit.
Sorry, I wanted to read that quote.
You're welcome. I'm yeah. Here's the official press release. Beginning in January 2011, DC Comics will implement a line-wide pricing adjustment, lowering the prices of all standard-length 32-page ongoing comic titles, currently priced at $3.99 to $2.99. Now let's break this down real quick, guys.
Okay.
You got a 32-page book. Let's say you're putting 8 full-page ads in every book. So you actually only have 24 pages of story at that point anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you go up to 8 full-page ads from 6 in order to lower the price to $3.99. Are you even getting 24 pages, like 24 story pages currently in a book? Like I can test this. I have new comic books right here in my closet, right beside my desk. So we'll look at this.
Yeah, unfortunately, all of mine are on the other side of the room.
It's cool. I got this. Let's see. Oh well. Let's see. There's an IDW comic, Usagi Yojimbo #1. There's a Boom comic. Wow, that's the #1 issue. That might be deceptive.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What we got? Marvel versus DC. That's the '90s because that's when comics were good.
Yep.
Shit. All right. Well, I've got radically rearranged Ronin Ragdolls #1. And #1 issues can be misleading, so don't take me wrong there. But let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. Well, this could work. The $4.99 irredeemable, but it's irredeemable #13. So let's just
Oh, there we go.
take a look at that. This is I'll give you an idea of when this is from. It's not recent, but
Recent enough.
it's 2010. It's before this, so
Oh.
let's just see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 22. Okay, so you got 22 story pages with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 auxiliary pages for a promo for a new comic. So you got 21 story pages in 2010 from a Boom Studios comic for $4.99 or for $3.99. So let's see what it looks like 9 years later. We'll open up a Boom Studios comic. And we'll say a full page splash on the intro. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 32 pages of story for the exact same price 9 years later with a better cover, a better paper quality, and I mean, there's no contest.
Right.
So the idea that the cost is the issue is just false, right?
Bullshit.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, adjust your mic again.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good.
Is that better?
Much. Yeah. Just when it dips down a little bit too low, we can hear you like breathing into the mic, and it just sounds like you're getting a little too intimate with us. Just a little bit. I mean, we like a little
Cue
intimacy,
70s porno music.
but oh, that's been playing the whole time,
Of course it has.
That explains things.
buddy. But yeah, so DC is essentially saying that they're going to cut your story pages by 2 more story pages to cut $1 off your price. Personally, as a reader, I'm okay with that. I will absolutely give you 2 ad pages for $1 off my book.
Yeah.
Because a 10% decrease in story for a 20% decrease in price, I'll take it all day, every day. I mean, it's actually 25%, right? Taking $4 down by a whole dollar is 25%. So you're actually gaining 15% of your price point back.
So yeah, not a horrible plan that they did back then.
Now that was 2011. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just go a little forward in time then. Let's jump 2017.
All right. Man, doing a whole expose on DC Comics, aren't we?
We are.
Sweet.
So let's see here. Interact. Fuck you. We don't want. Oh, goddamn hiccups.
Oh, jeez, not this again.
Every fucking time. It's the Irish whiskey, I'm telling you.
It must be.
It's only Irish whiskey.
You gotta watch those Irish. They're shady individuals.
That's what Novel Bro told me.
Yeah.
So, the price of DC holding the line at $2.99 and why the move to $3.99 is happening now. So they held out for 6 years.
Wow.
They held out for 6 years.
That's pretty good.
We mentioned earlier about how the unexpectedly high return rate of DC Rebirth has hit DC and Diamond hard. Bleeding Cool was also the first to point out last month that DC Comics was moving to a $3.99 price point for print monthly comics, while their twice monthly and digital books remain at $2.99. I have been informed by multiple sources that while sales for DC Comics are up, the $2.99 price point has meant that revenue. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Vamp for a minute, Ayrton. I'll be right back.
Okay. Let's see, where are we? I've been informed by multiple sources that while sales for DC Comics are up, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The $2.99 price point has meant that revenue is down for both DC Comics and the retailers who sell them, which seems weird. Because you would think lowering that price by a whole $1 compared, I guess we'd have to know what Marvel was selling.
Well,
most of their books at that time.
That doesn't mean the retailer gets a $1 discount.
That's true.
So without the new $3.99 price point, they've been screwed. The buy physical, pay digital offer should help. fuck is that all about?
Irish brandy?
What?
What? Sorry. Novel Bro in the chat, he said, just wait till you try the Irish brandy. Wild stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm not about that life.
Oh, you know I'm Googling it. Anyways, continue with the article.
Oh, with your leave, I definitely will. Thank you. Thank you for permission.
You're welcome.
The buy physical, pay digital offer should help, but you won't have to wait long before the $2.99 twice monthly titles catch up. And that's pretty much it for this article. They're talking about how everything around the rebirth era. Son of a bitch! Fucking hate the goddamn hiccups. I can't. I'll be
hold
right
your
back.
breath.
No, I can't. Not do a show, so I'll be right back, Ayrton.
Where are we moving on to? Should I move? I guess I'll move on to, even though you guys in the watching won't be able to see this.
No. We have another article.
Before the one I sent you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay, yeah, send that link on over, and I'll start with it. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Ah, what the hell? Okay. From Newsarama 2017, DC's digital titles hold the line at $2.99 despite print books price increase. DC's newly announced plan to add digital access codes as part of the $1 price increase to certain DC, quote, rebirth titles will only affect print versions of those books. All $2.99 rebirth titles will remain at that price point on digital distribution outlets at least in April. So basically, they're charging you $1 and giving you a digital scan of the comic book you just bought for that extra $1, which is, what they're doing today anyways, which is, annoying. But anyways, as announced Tuesday, the print version of 15 monthly DC titles will be raised from $2.99 per issue to $3.99 per issue, with the added value, quote unquote, of access codes for digital versions of each book. Yeah, such a value.
So,
fuck off, DC.
Well, here's the thing. I actually kind of like the idea of getting a physical copy and then hit your mic again, Sean. No, it sounds like you're right back into. There we go. All right. Nope, not quite.
Better?
I think so. Yeah, the chat just was about to go on rampage. And the chat always wins. So anyway, no. Let's see, where were you? Yes, let's catch up. You were what, the third paragraph?
Yeah.
The two-tier pricing, retailer, digital comics. Oh no, you're in the second. With the added value of access codes for digital versions of each book. Now, I like the idea of a digital comic coming via a code in every book because part of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
mythos of comic books has always been, hey, you're my buddy. You bought Plastic Man this week. I bought Superman. Let's trade now that we've both read the books that we bought so that we can read each other's books without having to spend that extra money.
yeah,
However, the
but
fact
I don't think it can justify a dollar increase. I don't think that's enough added value to justify $1 per issue. Personally,
I think it does because it means that I don't have to rebuy this issue for $3. I can buy this issue once for $4 and loan it out to whoever the fuck I want to as a digital book. If that book was a DRM free copy, it is not, and that is the fucking foundation of my angst with this statement.
yeah,
Because this digital copy is not mine. It doesn't belong to me. I can't send it to my wife to put on her iPad. And I can't send it to my co-host to read for a show. I can't send it to my best friend. I can upload it to my fucking Comixology account. What the fuck is wrong with you people? That is not what I want. I want a file that I can send somebody and say, hey, I bought this. You should read it. And if you like it, go buy it. And the rest of them.
right.
If you don't, you're not out anything. And I won't send you another copy. Because you can't put a
That's
time
fair.
limit on a digital copy, piracy runs rampant and people blame the idea of digital comics on piracy. I disagree with that statement. I think that piracy is going to happen because I particularly have copies of comic books in digital format that are scans of old books that you could never get on digital unless you scan them into a fucking scanner, page by page, and upload them onto a
Yeah,
reader.
Xerox that shit.
But I would never be able to afford Amazing Fantasy number 15. I would either A, have to buy a reprint from Marvel and catch them in the sweet spot of being sold. And you almost never do because anytime somebody reprints one of these old books, everybody buys it up thinking, oh, well, it'll be worth something. Or collectors buy them up and destroy them to maintain the value of their original book. And don't think I'm bullshitting. This shit happens. Like
I'm sure it does.
people go out there and they buy reprints of Giant Sized X-Men number 1, Amazing 15, Detective 27, Action number 1. They buy those reprints, throw them in a dumpster, and throw a match all over them just to maintain the value of their original printing.
Fucking people.
Anyway, this change, planned to take effect in April, will affect Batgirl, Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, Batman Beyond, Batwoman, Blue Beetle, Cyborg, the Hellblazer, New Superman, Red Hood and the Outlaws, Super Son, Supergirl, Superwoman, Teen Titans, and Trinity. The new pricing plan seems to create a two-tiered pricing structure for the affected titles. Print books with digital access codes sold by the large brick-and-mortar stores will be $3.99, and digital books sold by digital retailers such as Comixology will be $2.99. First off, digital comics at that point in 2017 were too fucking expensive. They're even more expensive now. It's just,
99 cents an issue.
if that. Like, honestly,
Yeah, if that.
honestly, I think you should be able to rent the motherfuckers for 2 days for a quarter or 50 cents.
Yeah.
I think you should have a 2-day rental subscription service for 50 cents. I guarantee you millions of people would read every comic book on the face of the planet for a quarter or 50 cents a pop. And you would make more money on digital subscription services where you had a limited time to read this book. Like, it wouldn't be a You know, it
Like the
wouldn't be
fucking digital red box of comics.
well, it wouldn't be 48 hours from release. Like you wouldn't just get drafted for the book, and if you didn't read it in 2 days, you're shit out of luck. Like you would open the book,
Yeah.
that would start your countdown. You'd have 2 days to finish it. It takes
Yeah.
20 minutes to read an average comic, so you could read it 100 times for 50 cents.
Not that you would, but you could.
Right. You could let your buddies read it at work during their lunch break. You could let your entire household read it for a quarter or 50 cents. And I think that should be the digital market because people that read shit digitally want to own it physically if they like it.
Right.
And if they don't like it and they don't want to own it, well, is that anybody's fault but the creator? I
You
mean,
know,
to
it is
be
for not
fair,
being open-minded and being accepting of Captain Marvel.
who?
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I don't speak cuck. You seem to be speaking a foreign language, sir.
Sorry, I was responding to Mark Zaid on Twitter, so I had to, do
Oh.
some Google Translate into Cuckanese.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thank Google for adding that. Right. I mean, I know
About
it's their
time.
native language, but nobody else.
Right. So you
But
think Google's programmed in binary, but it's not,
now
because binary is offensive.
that little bit of time travel where we went from January of 2011 to, let's see here, when did this one get written? To February and January of 2017 is to bring us to November 5th, 2019, last week. DC Comics in dire straits? Question mark. Jacking up the line? Well, at least they're not jacking off the line. I mean,
Well, they probably are doing that too.
no, they're jacking off AT&T. Price at $7.99. So the company that made a fucking huge deal out of holding the line at $2.99 has jacked the line price up from $2.99 to $7.99 within 8 years. They've jacked the line price up from $3.99 to $7.99 in 2 years? Wait a minute, DC. No, DC.
Something's wrong with that math there.
DC Comics is rumored to be jacking up the line by introducing new titles featuring Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, and more, priced at $7.99. It is proclaimed that DC Comics replacing all of its core characters in the 5G promotional event, reminiscent to the politically correct Axel Alonso era at Marvel Comics. Wait a minute. I just told you I don't speak cuck. None of those words make sense to me.
Isn't 5G like a cell phone thing?
I mean, it's the thing that gives you cancer in cell phones, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But the politically correct Axel Alonso era. So you're calling it an era saying that it's basically over. And the politically correct Axel Alonso era being over means that it didn't work. So you're following that trend. Okay. See how that plays out for you, Cotton.
Yeah. I bet it's going to go amazingly well for them.
Interestingly enough, Bendis is now at DC. Oh, Bendis. Man, I hope you like pay cuts, buddy. That everyone hated caused sales to absolutely tank and also caused Alonso to get fired. Well, I mean, that means we can't blame him for Captain Marvel, right? That DC Comics is also going to be launching a new line of Black Label comics featuring the original characters at a more expensive price, yet with more content. 10-1. This is
Is it
10
really
to
going
1.
to be?
10-1. I'm putting bets out right now. We're taking bets in the steeple, folks. But if you want to match me, I'm putting $20 on 10-1 odds that by this time next year, DC creators will be crowdfunding their fucking books for DC.
You know, I bet you they would be, especially when we get to the next article after this one. I mean, what else are they going to do?
Well, here's the
As
thing.
we see the
This is a multi-million-dollar a year industry that has been losing money hand over fist. But it's said that for 5G will capture the Black Batman Luke Fox. Now wait a minute. Luke Fox, he was the Signal. He was not Black Batman. He was the Signal. But now we have a Black Batman apparently. Jonathan Kent as Superman and the child of Captain Boomerang as the Flash. Now wait a minute. How many fucking kids does the Flash have to have an offspring? Fucking get goddamn Bart Allen up here or some shit.
right.
And either a teen lantern for the new Green Lantern or the Far Sector lead as Green Lantern. What? I don't know what any of these words mean. This is why.
The fuck?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm just going to say it. I've said it 100 times before. I'm going to say it 100 times again. In the current era, kids walking into a game store or a comic store or any of these stores, they're going to look at an $8 comic book and they're going to look at 3 packs of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic or Pokemon cards where they can actually make some money. And they're going to be like, yeah, fuck that piece of paper that I can just pirate online. Like, you're not creating something that people are going to want to buy. And you're worried about piracy? Like, the people that are going to pirate your shit were never going to pay for it in the first place. The people that read comic books that are pirated, read them and then go buy them if they like them. And I'm sorry, but nothing you just said is going to take the current generation of people that buy comic books and say, hey, you know what I'm going to go do? I'm going to buy some 5G comics from DC because it's got this Batman and this Superman and this the Flash and this Green Lantern that I'm so familiar with and I'm invested in their story and I want to read it. No, you got a Batman I have no fucking clue about, a Superman that I think is a fucking cunt, a Flash that should never have been a Flash, and a Green Lantern that you don't even know who the fuck it is yet. Excuse the fuck out of me. I have none. I have no sympathy for your story. I have no involvement with your story. Nothing you just said sold me as a comics fan. Nothing you just said makes me want to buy a DC comic book.
No, they make me want to do drugs, but...
Well, I mean, I think that's just a show.
Yeah, that's true.
Regarding the new Black Label Comics, it said plans are underway to launch a number of new oversized titles starring Bruce Wayne as Batman, Clark Kent as Superman, Deanna as Wonder Woman, Arthur Curry as Aquaman, Hal Jordan as Green Lantern. You mean the
actual fucking characters?
Oh, yeah. And Barry Allen and or Wally West as the Flash at $7.99 each. Wait a minute. You don't even know who the fuck the Flash is going to be in these books? What is wrong with you, DC? Who let this article fucking hit print? Like Cosmic Book News. You should be embarrassed. Like this is horseshit journalism, buddy. Oh, it's via Bleeding Cool. That makes a lot more sense now. So basically, we see DC Comics is doing is that they are charging their customers more for titles they want, the original and popular characters, while the title no one wants will cost less. Bait and switch, don't you think? Maybe these rumors of DC being in dire straits are true, and if things don't pick up, hence the new prices, DC Comics will indeed be sold off by AT&T. So, panel, thoughts on this?
This is going to work so well. DC, they're going to be the best. They're going to be the top. They're going to have the greatest.
Gonna be huge.
It's going to be like MAGA, but with DC, it's going to be however you would pronounce the
comic
the acronym. Make DC Comics great again. I don't know how you would pronounce that, but that's what it's going to be. Yes, exactly.
I think that's what Trump was going for when he originally misspelled that word. He was trying to spell
that would make sense,
and it just auto-corrected the comic fefe.
I bet that's Jack Dorsey probably went in and manually changed the tweet because he didn't want. It'd be okay if he mentioned Gamergate, but don't mention Comicsgate. That would be bad.
Wait, am I supposed to be rising up right now too? I've had too much to drink to rise up right now.
Oh, well, I guess you can rise up tomorrow.
I'll rise up tomorrow like a good gamer.
Okay.
Sean, do you have any thoughts on DC raising the price from $2.99 to $7.99 on classic characters over the course of 8 years?
That's insane.
I mean, short, concise. I like it.
Yeah, very succinct. That's good.
Landolomite. He's in the chat now. How does a 35th print of a book destroy the value of a first printing of a key issue? It doesn't, Landolomite, but people are stupid. I think you're not really understanding what I'm trying to get across here. People are not logical. They don't actually think correctly. Like they don't have a thought process as a human being. They're a dumb, panicky animal that does things because they think they might know what they're doing, even though people tell them
they don't
that
teach
they don't.
economics in school anymore.
No, they don't actually.
So there's also that.
I blackmailed my economics teacher, so I knew the guy she was having an affair with. So he was my coworker at my actual day job. So we have one final article, and then we'll sign off the show. I've had a great time. It could be the Irish whiskey dog, but I've had fun.
And the hiccups are gone. So
they are. I had to stand up. That was the thing. It's the chair. I don't think it sits up high enough. Yeah, I think I was.
Yeah, you were putting too much pressure on the diaphragm there.
Yeah, the diaphragm. The diaphragm. So back in September, getting in the Magic School Bus again, it was pontificated that AT&T might look at DC Comics and say, well, why the fuck do we even have you? Like, you're not making us any money. What are you doing here? And Matt McGlane over at Cosmic Book News said, it is being speculated that AT&T, the parent company of Warner Media, which includes DC Entertainment, may sell off the brand in a part to save billions of dollars. So not only is DC Comics a lost leader, but DC Comics is losing billions of dollars.
I think I have $6.38 in my pocket. Do you think AT&T would take that for DC Comics?
I'm pretty sure they would give you $6.38 to take DC Comics from them. I mean,
It's a deal.
if they're losing,
It is a deal, AT&T. I will fly out to California and sign the paperwork tomorrow.
He's going to need a post-dated ticket as well as a what is it? A courtesy call.
Well, they're going to have to send a limo. Well, they're going to have to send a limo to the airport to pick me up with strippers and champagne in the limo.
Champagne brand champagne.
Champagne.
That's correct.
Or-
We've got to hold on. No, wait a minute.
What?
Former DC Comics artist Ethan Van Sciver was tipped off by someone at DC in regards to an article published by Barron's titled "AT&T was headed in the right direction" before activist Elliott Management showed up, which is in regards to a hedge fund, Elliott Management, having disclosed a whopping $3.2 billion stake at AT&T. The problem is the hedge fund group is not happy at all with AT&T, as its stock has underperformed compared to T-Mobile, Verizon, and the S&P index. Now, you don't think that stock... You don't think that stock underperforming has anything to do with lifelong customers realizing they've been charged hundreds of dollars in fees that didn't exist on their initial contract, and the fact that AT&T very well has been violating some tremendous consumer guidelines for years. No, it's definitely DC Comics.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, I mean, honestly, if the fact that DC Comics might cost you billions of dollars a year, it might be DC Comics. Like, I don't think even Heisenberg could fuck AT&T out of $1 billion a year. Problem is, the hedge fund group is not happy as it's underperformed. Blah blah blah. EVS points out two relevant things potentially have to do with DC in the article report. Do the involvement of the hedge fund that moves may be made to increase profits by removing positions as well as outsourcing. Something that Marvel has already been doing with IDW. We've talked about it briefly on this show between Ayrton and myself, Sean. But have you noticed that several Spider-Man and Star Wars comics have been being outsourced to IDW as of late?
I've stopped reading Spider-Man lately.
That's probably wise.
Yeah, but you should definitely take a look at your local comic shop and check out what books have the Marvel and IDW imprint on them.
I'll take a look at it next time I'm down.
Yeah, Star Wars Adventures, and there's a Spider-Man title. I want to say Spider-Man in the City, but that's not it.
I don't know. There's 1,000 Spider-Man titles now.
There's at least 8, and that's a problem. But we've talked about that before, so let's not get distracted.
We have.
Elliott's letter also calls on AT&T to streamline its bureaucratic organization, remove redundant positions, and consider outsourcing non-core functions, which I don't think creating comic books is a core function of AT&T, guys.
Something tells me that it's not.
Elliott sees $10 billion in potential annual savings. First off, to the panel. Sean, you're the guest, so you go first. Somebody hands you a bag full of $100 bills and says, here's $10 billion. What's the first thing you do, buddy?
I take it and invest it in something.
That's boring.
I give a third of it to EVS and put him in charge of DC Comics and say, do your thing, man. Make us some goddamn money.
All right. That's pretty good. I die of a cocaine overdose within 10 minutes.
Wow. I did say I'd only give him a third of it to fix DC Comics.
Yeah, I wouldn't
But-
even make it to buying DC Comics and giving it over to EPS. However, I would buy Marvel Comics and give that to Jonathan Hickman. So, I mean, if we both hit the lottery, then comics are saved wholeheartedly.
That's true.
Actually, I would give control, and don't take this the wrong way. I would give control of Marvel Comics to Clint Stoker of the Sweetcast.
Okay.
And I would also buy out Diamond and give that to Peter Simeti. And then I would overdose on cocaine because I knew the DC would be taken care of when you won your million.
And I would also fire Brie Larson.
She's not hired by any of those companies.
I don't care. I would still fire her.
We're not buying Disney. Disney still owns.
Well, I mean, can we give her $1,000 just to fuck off?
Probably not. No, I'm pretty sure Disney pays her a lot more to fuck right back on.
You mean Disney owns her?
Van Sciver goes on to speculate that AT&T could divest itself of DC, meaning get rid of DC, as AT&T may no longer want to require the brand as part of its business interest or investment. Because they bought Warner, but DC came in the deal, right?
Yeah.
The article also mentions a big meeting being held on October 29th in regard to the future of Warner Media, includes DC, the new HBO Max streaming service, which has been diverted because of Disney Plus. I just want everybody to know. Disney Plus announcement came out about 3 weeks before that, and they were just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, we're screwed.
AT&T... I mean, eventually Disney is going to own everything, right? Like, can you not wait to buy your Mickey Mouse rubbers?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. There will be two at the end. There will be two little like spare bubbles for the cum to go into.
Right, the
afterwards.
ears.
So when you're done, it'll look like the mouse ears.
Right. Right. And you'll know whether you shoot to the left or the right, depending on which ear is more inflated.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're onto $1 million idea. Disney, get at me,
bro.
bro.
It depends on what testicle it comes out to. Then you'll know if you're more likely to have a boy or a girl, because that's how that works, right? Like one testicle is for boys, one makes girls.
I mean, my dad only had the one, and he made both, so no.
Oh, well.
Nah, he fell on a support beam working on the roof of the house and split the right one, but the left one made two boys and a girl.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I knew a guy who fucked up some sort of skateboard trick and split his sack completely open.
Ooh.
Oh man, danglers? He had danglers?
Yeah, he did.
That's fantastic. Can you get him on the show? I want to talk to this guy.
I don't know. I'm sure you could figure out a way to tie that back into comic books.
Oh man, we just reviewed Skate Man with him. What the fuck are you talking about? The worst, best comic of all time, Skate Man.
I figured you just say so your testicles were just free dangling, kind of like how Marvel and DC are just dangling by a string right now.
No.
That's what I figured you would say.
No, I would imply to him that his real life story was actually the scripted ending for Skate Man that it never made it to because Skate Man was such a horrible comic book. And then I would say, "Tell me about your nuts." Well, I'm waiting on the guy with the danglers, right? Sean, I apologize. This is the show.
I'll see what I can do.
I hope you're having fun.
I'm having a blast.
Well, that's all that matters. But we do need to have you back on once you got your actual campaign going. so that we can interview and grill you proper. Like we've just been kind of flying off the cuff because we don't have the campaign to go through, and we figured you would
Right.
enjoy taking the piss out of DC just like we do.
For sure.
Landel might, and this, my friends, is how your show gets age restricted.
No. We get age restricted from the get go now because of the COPPA regulations, right? Like every time I set up a stream, I have to say, no, this is definitely not meant for kids. Like I used to not have to do that. I had the age regulation, like 13 plus recommended. And that was all I had to do because we use strong language and adult themes when doing our show, right?
Oh, okay.
But now I have to specifically tick off that this is not for children, do not recommend it to kids. However, here's the funny thing. Our show can still get monetized on YouTube. Anything meant for kids
Really?
can't.
I mean, we're still not going to.
Absolutely not. Like, I mean, I've worn a Yarmalook live on stream one too many times.
And we were just talking about dangling testicles and Mickey Mouse shaped condoms. So
what's wrong with that? Yeah, you have you have to age restrict yourself now with the COPA regulation, Landolomite.
Wouldn't you love to see a Disney ad for some sort of like movie or something before this episode?
Oh, dude, 100%. I would love to see. Oh, Dan, what's going on, buddy? Has Ayrton made your life hell for giving him so much shit on the show?
Not yet.
Oh, yet, he says. If he gives you a hard time, Daniel, let me know. I'll fire him, and I'll bring you on an episode, and you can do an expose on air. He'll tell us all about your My Little Pony decals on the back of your fucking Honda Civic. And the fact that you
I
don't
drive a Mini Cooper.
And the fact that you don't even own a motorcycle, you just drive a Vespa and go vroom vroom really loud.
But I wear leather chaps with fringe on them.
Yes, but all chaps are assless, Ayrton.
That's why I just said leather. I didn't say assless because that's a dumb term. And I wear them underneath a kilt.
Ayrton, that just means easy access. That's all you're telling me.
I mean, have you ever worn a kilt? They're comfy, super breezy.
I'm gonna start calling you Fish Market.
Apparently when you walk into a fish market, you're not supposed to take a deep breath and go like, "Oh, well, hello, ladies."
Hello, ladies.
Apparently you're not supposed to do that. I found that out the hard way, but that's a story for another time.
Daniel says he will write hours of content, so I think we have a 300 subscriber special scheduled now. Once we hit 300 subscribers, I will have Daniel on. I will fire Ayrton early in the show and block him from coming back into the live chat until Daniel and I have done an Ayrton expose. And then we will allow Ayrton on to defend himself. This will probably be like a 9-hour live stream. I'm actually planning on dying of alcohol poisoning live on this show. So
can I just sleep until the last hour of that stream then?
No, you have to listen to all of the charges being brought against you. Does he wear the fingerless leather gloves? Only with the chaps.
Yeah, of course.
It's a necessary part of the costume.
Yeah,
but only when you're being a homosexual Avenger.
You have to have the proper accoutrement. Come on.
No offense to the homosexuals out there. I love you guys. Gaylord is is the profit of the war campaign. You know, don't at me, bro. But we've got a little bit more of this DC article to get through, and I think we'll have our final thoughts and close up. So AT&T has an analyst day scheduled for October 29th, focused on Warner Media and its upcoming HBO Max streaming service. That meeting just got more interesting, wrote some guy. Worth a mention is that Forbes recently pointed out that it's telling to new Warner Media CEO John Stankey, and I do not make that up, Stanky, as in the leg, who is from AT&T, never bothered to mention DC in a recent article that promoted Warner Media. And I also want to point out, what did we talk about during SDCC this year? That DC's presence was greatly reduced from his previous setting. And that's, like, honestly, can I just, like, spitball here and say that, and I'd like you guys' input on this, but I think the Joker was a fucking Hail Mary by DC, honestly.
Oh yeah.
I think the
How much
Joker
money that
movie,
made?
$1 billion worldwide without being released in China? Are you
And they
fucking
only
kidding
spent
me?
$12 on making it.
I mean, they spent like $350. They summoned the Loch Ness Monster and made that goddamn movie. They needed about tree fitting.
Yeah.
Sean, you got anything to add to that, buddy?
I thought it was brilliant. I loved it. Like, it was very simple, no over the top CG. It was a good movie.
And here's the thing: as a fan of comics, I actually am against the idea of doing the Joker movie. And I think that anybody who understands comic fans' point of view on the Joker can at least reasonably respect that standpoint, because giving the Joker an origin kind of fucks him as a character. However,
Yeah.
if I look at this as a non-canonical Elseworlds kind of storytelling device in cinematic format, it's absolutely fucking brilliant. Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I still haven't seen it, but you know, even if I don't like it, what they accomplished with it is incredible. Because you know, all the other movies suck,
Well,
unless you go back to like Bat Nipples.
I mean, unless you go back to Michael Keaton being Batman.
Yeah,
And I'd like to take this time to remind everybody that Michael Keaton has never played a comic book person that didn't have wings.
True
I mean,
that.
Batman, Birdman, and the Vulture.
I mean, Batman as
Bat-
a character doesn't have wings,
Batman's
but bats do.
there is a Batman costume with wings. Shut the fuck up. You're wrong.
But his costume didn't have wings.
Actually, at one point it did, didn't it? Like, didn't he use the glider wings at one point?
Batman Returns.
Did he?
Yes.
Oh, it's been so
With
long
the
since I've
Penguin and
seen
Catwoman, he had the Batman glider wings.
I don't remember that part, but I guess I'll take your word for it because I don't feel like googling it.
I mean, isn't that the only thing you do on the show is Google things? Like, are you telling me you can no longer perform your duties as a co-host?
I mean, I
Do I need to put out an invitation?
Go off on.
Do I need to put out a casting call for a new co-host? Is that what you're telling me? Do I need to just get an
That would be hilarious.
With me, as always, is my trusty co-host Ayrton McCartney, who I'm about to fire and bring on a new co-host. You'd still have to be here for every show. Like, that's the fucked up part. Like, you'd still have to be here long enough for me to fire you and then bring you back on to have a conversation with once I fired my new co-host for real.
Doesn't that just sound tedious?
No, it sounds amazing. Like, I've actually been doing it day one. The show's actually 3 hours long. I fire my new co-host an hour in every episode, and then do a new sound check with you, and pretend like we're starting to
fake
show
the audio
raw.
issues.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good play.
I mean, everybody's got to have a gimmick, right?
Right.
I just fake fucking up so bad that I can't even person. That the hiccups are all fake too. I don't even have a diaphragm. I had that removed back in
You were
Nam.
born without a diaphragm.
No, I had it removed back in Nam.
Oh, okay.
Not during the war or anything, just while I was in Vietnam. I donated my diaphragm to science for $35,000.
It's how you got out of having to pay child support.
I claim all my kids.
How dare you?
Did you just hit I dare you? You fucking kill me with that.
I love it.
Make it louder. Like I could wait. Is it just because my fucking volume's down? Hold on.
It could be.
All right, try again.
How dare you?
How dare you?
I love it.
Comic book artist and creator Deadpool Rob Liefeld has also taken to social media instead of finishing his goddamn comic book. Like,
Right.
to offer the company should get rebooted from the top down. Recent post offering DC should be vaporized. Who the fuck asked you for your goddamn opinion, Rob Liefeld? Like, literally,
Does anybody ever ask his opinion on anything?
Literally, you look like you should be selling lotion in a mall fucking kiosk right now. Like, what are you doing, Rob? Rob, go draw feet. Like, just get better at drawing feet, and then maybe people will take you seriously. Because that's where I see your future fucking career at, is on Twitter drawing fucking feet pics for the lulz. In fact, can I commission Rob Liefeld to draw some feet?
He probably needs the money.
Does he have an open commission? That is a new. You know what? Absolutely. Here we go. I will give the first person that produces legitimate, and this is beyond the shadow of a doubt, legitimate records of commissioning Rob Liefeld to draw feet. I will give them 2 months of our highest tier of Patreon perks for free. Now, I am going to require a high resolution photo of the Rob Liefeld feet to do an episode on, in which I will invite you to guest host. However, I will give you 2 months of the highest tiered Patreon perks and admin status on the Discord and a mod wrench if you don't already have one. If you acquire Rob Liefeld feet commission photos.
This is the most serious I've ever heard. Something so stupid. I love it.
Isn't it fantastic though? Like it's a double negative. Rob Liefeld feet commission. The motherfucker got commissioned by Marvel and DC and Image for like 40 years, and he hasn't drawn 4 feet in that fucking 40 years. I want some detailed toenails. I want it to be fucking Wolfbane's feet with athlete's foot. Like hairy fucking she-wolf feet with athlete's foot, and maybe a hangnail. I want it to be disgusting, hyper detailed, fully colored feet.
Just feet, like are we talking like up to the ankle?
I don't care. I don't care. I want the feet to be really detailed. I don't give a shit about anything else.
It'll be. hyper detailed feet on like a stick figure.
That's fine. That's fine. As long as the feet are hyper detailed. Like, I'm thinking like a POV shot of like the calves and ankles and feet of this character. But whatever you come up with, whatever you commission, if you get some Rob Liefeld feet and it's got to have his signature on it, like it's got to be legitimate, you're going to have to like share some DMs with me or something to make sure that is actually him, or show me a receipt or a certificate or whatever. But I'm going to need to see some Rob Liefeld commissioned feet. And I absolutely will. You know what? Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that 2-month bullshit. I'm going to give you a whole year. 1 calendar year. Starting the month you provide the fucking commission. 1 calendar year of the highest Patreon tier for free. You get all the benefits with none of the cost. And if you're already a patron, we'll figure out something else to sweeten the deal. You might even get like a genie wish or some bullshit. We'll send you some comic books. We'll review some shit with you. You can come on the show. We'll give you admin access to the Discord, so we're running the Discord show. You can crash the fucking show. Whatever you want. Just get me some Rob Liefeld feet, somebody. I have never wanted anything. I have never wanted anything more for Christmas in my life than Rob Liefeld to draw some feet. You feel me?
I don't know if we can continue with this article.
There's an article? What are you talking about?
I don't remember at this point all this talk about feet.
Church, you want some foot fetish shit? Alright, I'm gonna head out.
Who said that?
That's Novel Bro.
Hey, Novel Bro.
How dare you?
What is this show anymore?
I mean, you did this to me. You sent me this article.
You just saw Liefeld's name and something opened up.
I hate him so much. I don't even know why. It's not even rational. Like, he's never done anything to personally offend me. He's just such a bitch.
It's because, like Ron Swanson, you're allergic to cowardice and weak-willed men.
I am.
And tree nuts.
I am. When they ask me how many drinks I have a week, I tell them 1. 1 drink? No. 1 shelf. But no, seriously. I mean, how amazing would that be to cap off the year for the Gospel of Comics? With
it'd
a
be fantastic.
stream shitting on Rob Liefeld while focusing around a centerpiece of a Rob Liefeld commissioned pair of feet.
We could add to that. If you get this, we'll set up a P.O. box for you to send it to, and me and Church will both sign over top of Rob Liefeld's signature.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then send it back to you, and you can frame it.
Absolutely, yeah. You know what? In fact, fuck that. On top of the year, if you send it to us, we'll both sign it, and I'll get the motherfucker framed and send it back to you. I'll get it like
graded.
Matted. Yeah, no, I'll get it matted and framed. Like, even better.
There we go.
Even better. So yeah. We'll get it matted and framed. We'll have a Gospel of Comics memoriam put on it. It'll be a collector piece for when the show actually gets big and people start subscribing, and then you can sell it on eBay for legit dollars.
Think of it as a long-term investment.
Right, that's never going to actually pay out like actual comic books.
I mean, actual comic books don't pay out anymore.
Right, but you have to specify Landolomite that he has to draw Deadpool's feet outside of his costume. Like, in fact, if I was going to request Deadpool's feet, here's how I would do it. I would say you have to draw Deadpool's feet while he has like one baby toddler foot and one adult foot after his leg being cut off.
Oh man!
But I think that's all.
Probably one of the funniest fucking things we've ever done on this show.
What even is this show anymore? Are we actually still live? Like, is anybody still watching this horse shit? Anyway,
I'm trying to think who out of everybody who listens to us regularly would actually attempt to do this.
I mean, Danielle's probably already doing it.
Probably.
I mean, isn't she the only one that went to instigate Rob Liefeld after we?
True.
Like, didn't we say specifically to leave the man alone? And she was like, "Nah, I'm gonna go fuck with him." And I was like, "Well, we don't control you. Do what you do, girl." Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's about all we've got for the evening, everybody.
That's all I got for the evening.
I definitely want to extend my sincerest thanks to Sean for coming on and talking about Paranormal Academy and listening to me rant about DC Comics and lines for Santa
and feet.
I didn't tell him anything about the cocaine before he got here. That was a complete surprise to him. So don't hold that against him. I'm kidding. But anyway, if you have anything to close out with, Sean, now is the time, because then Ayrton has his little catchphrase that I can't infringe on, and then I'm going to infringe on it.
All right, check out my pre-launch. I'm going to be doing some, for everyone who subscribes, I'll be giving them some preview panels as a reward for signing up.
All right, well, that is
awesome.
That is part of the mailing list down in the description down below, and that is for the arcade thing, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Because the comic isn't quite up yet. However, once you get that launched, we will have you back on, and we will go a little further with that. I definitely appreciate you coming on and putting up with us for 2 hours, and we look forward to having you back.
No problem.
Ayrton, what have you got for the fine ladies and gentlemen?
Good night, everybody.
Again, thanks to you both for being on here. Thank everybody in the chat. Landolomite, Novel Bro, Einbrecht, everybody that made some appearances. Who else? Gulf City, Cult of Krill. I think Danielle might have been in there for just a second. I could be wrong. Matt Christie for stopping by. Everybody for being a member. Erica for jumping in for a minute there. And we will see you guys again tomorrow with God knows what. Later, guys.
Same foot time, same foot place.
That is correct. Rob Liefeld, draw me some fucking feet. Susan, pay what you owe.